Before we get into my story, make sure to please hit the subscribe button. It means the world to me. This is the following part to my story. If you haven't seen the previous one, you should click here and watch the story from the start. I went to this gala night with Beth and met many prominent people. I was shocked to see that they all knew me. Everyone complimented me on how I had achieved so much at such a young age. Well, half of it was thanks to my family, quite literally. If they had never put me on through so many hardships, none of this would have happened. I would probably have been an ordinary guy working a simple job after graduating college. Anyway, everything was going well, and I was having the time of my life at this gala, when suddenly, I bumped into people who turned the smile on my face upside down. If your guess is my sisters, then you are absolutely right. But they were not alone. Everyone who had messed me up in the past, and not given me a chance to prove myself, was present there. James, my ex-business partner, the man who played a key role in ruining my company. Melissa, my ex-girlfriend who I used to genuinely love, and who believed my sisters over me. And Kristen, my fake ex, and Natalie's minion. "Milton, what a pleasant surprise. It's so good to see you here," Natalie sneered at me. "The feeling's not mutual," I replied. "I see you haven't changed at all," Penny said, coming forward. "Still the same arrogant and rude person." I gave her a smile. "What can I say? You bring out the best in me." Beth was standing beside me, and I could sense her confusion about what was going on. "Beth, right?" James turned his attention to her. "I'm James. You perhaps know me." No," Beth replied. For a second, I had deja vu. This was playing out exactly in the same way when I was dating Melissa. And my sisters had tried to turn her against me, but they failed at the time. They did it later anyway. And now, I was really afraid. Beth was the only person I had in my life now. I mean, I was not dating her or anything, but I cared for her nonetheless. And I didn't want her to get under the influence of these people who had ruined me over. "Come on now," Natalie jumped in. "If you don't know James, you must definitely know me." "Sorry, how am I supposed to know you? Have we met before?" Beth asked. "If we have, then sorry, but I don't remember you. You have a face and an attitude that is worth forgetting." My mouth fell open. Now this was not what I was expecting. Did Beth pick up on the fact that I hated these people? She turned to me with an assuring look and grabbed my hand, taking me by surprise. "Now, if you will please excuse us," she said to no one in particular. "We are quite busy." Melissa stood in front of us, blocking our way. "Are you dating him?" She pointed a finger in my direction. "That's none of your business," Beth replied in a clipped tone. "Well, you're right, I guess," Melissa shrugged. "But a heads up just in case. This guy is nothing but a liar and a cheater. I used to be like you at one point of time, and he used to be everything to me. And then, I found out his truth thanks to his sisters. So, my advice would be to get as far away from him as you can." "I don't need your advice," Beth replied. "Whether he is a liar or not is for me to decide. Now, get out of our way." Then, Beth dragged me away from them and brought me to a corner. "So," she started slowly, "what was that all about?" "I should be asking you that," I said in shock. "You managed everything so well. How did you know that well, they are people I'm not fond of?" Beth chuckled, shrugging. "I sensed the tension. You're never rude to anyone. This was a first. So, I guess that those people must be really horrible and just went along with my gut." I sighed. "Oh, they are more than horrible. There's no comparison to what they have done to me." She gave me a sympathetic pat. "Do you want to talk about it?" I looked up to meet her eyes. I wanted to tell everything to Beth. I had lost Melissa because of hiding one thing from her, and I didn't want the same thing to happen with Beth. She had been my constant support since the last 1 year, and I knew that I could place my trust in her without worrying about anything. "They were my sisters," I told her. "The two girls who talked to me in the beginning. My sisters and I have had a really complicated relationship since childhood. Our parents favored girls, and they were always given preferential treatment. I was cast aside and treated like a... Actually, I have no words for what they did to me. Anyway, I worked behind their back and established my own company. When my dad lost everything, I revealed my truth to them and let them live at my place because they were my family, and I couldn't see them on the streets. My sisters started taking advantage of my kindness, as they were always after my money. I stopped their plans every time they tried to steal everything from me at a cursed party. And I was about to outsmart them yet again, but I let them off the hook at last. And this was my biggest mistake. Long story short, after that, I was dating Melissa, who happened to be the sister of one of my most important business partners. Some things panned out in the wrong way, and my sisters ruined everything from my love life to my business. I reached the lowest point in my life, and then got a job at the bank. You know the rest. Beth was silent for a long moment, staring at me with wide eyes, before she pulled me into a hug. "Oh my God, Milton, you've been through so much," she mumbled in my ear. "I cannot even begin to imagine. I'm so glad that you're here in front of me right now after all those awful things that happened to you. You are so strong-willed, Milton, and I absolutely like this about you." I broke the hug and gave her a smile. Somehow I felt relieved now. It was like that a huge burden had been lifted off my chest. I had no idea why I even told all these things to Beth, but darn it, it felt so good to be able to share my worst experiences with someone. Beth's phone suddenly pinged with a text message, and gave me an apologetic look. "I have somewhere to be," she said, "but I have to tell you something. Let's meet at the cafe in front of our office tomorrow." I nodded. I think I already had an idea about what she had to tell me. It was obvious now. Both of us liked each other, and it was just a matter of who confessed first now. I went towards the main area where everyone was assembled after Beth left. My eyes fell on Natalie and Penny, who were busy talking to the founder of the bank. My breath hitched in my throat. What the heck were they doing now? I was about to advance towards them, but someone blocked my way. I looked up to see Kristen standing in front of me. "Hey, Milton, remember me?" she asked mockingly. I gave her a dry look, crossing my arms over my chest. She smacked my shoulder playfully. "Come on now, this is no way to greet your ex-girlfriend." "Fake ex-girlfriend," I corrected her. Her eyes instantly blazed. "Right, how can I forget? You used me just to get rid of your sisters." "Nah," I shook my head. "You were using me to pay your bills, and you knew all along that I never liked you. Stop wasting my time now and move." "Is that Beth girl your new girlfriend?" she asked, ignoring me. "Let me see," I mused. "That's for me to know, and for you to never find out." Kristen scoffed. "There you go again, Milton, thinking that you are all high and mighty. But do not forget that you are no match against us. We brought you down once, and we will do it again. See for yourself." She pointed towards where Natalie was talking animatedly to the founder. I took a deep breath. What were they planning now? Did these people have some kind of obsession with me? Why couldn't they let me live in peace? "I heard that your bank's founder has a very crappy personality," Kristen continued with a smirk. "Totally our type of person. I don't think it'll be too difficult to turn him against you." I shoved Kristen out of the way and started walking towards Natalie. But she turned around and gave me a smug smile before grabbing the founder's hand and pulling him towards the exit. I stood there, gaping after them. What just happened? The rest of the night I spent in severe anxiety and the thoughts of what Natalie was doing now. She was plotting against me, again, no doubt. And she couldn't have chosen a better person than the bank's founder for her motives. That man really was bad news. If it hadn't been for his employees and hardworking staff, the bank would have closed down long ago. His only job was to sit back and pay his employees for their services, while yelling at them for no apparent reason at all. What made matters worse was that he was what you would call the big boss of the bank. He technically held all the power and could do anything he desired. That's why I'd always made sure to be on his good side. But now I had a bad feeling in my gut. What exactly was Natalie doing? The next day, I went to my office to find a letter waiting for me at my desk. I opened it cautiously and saw that it was from my so-called sisters. It started a love confession, and I had to roll my eyes. Now, there was no doubt that they were absolutely insane. They kept on saying that how much they loved me and wished that I would return their feelings and blah 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 blah. One of the paragraphs literally went like this: "If you just accept us and promise to take care of us, then we would never have to worry about anything in our life. Because of you, we have to keep looking for men who can support us. Why can't you just help your sisters out?" And then, the letter culminated into a threat. A very ridiculous threat that didn't even make sense. There was only one thing that I was completely sure of after reading the letter. My sisters had officially lost it. As soon as I crumpled the letter, I received a call from the founder.